This is photographic realism. It's the effect is that when you portray a man of another era who is soldiering in the 19th century military, you want it to be believable, and you want to portray history as it was and not what you would like it to be.
Captain Kirk Lyons is in charge of the battle reenactment. His line of thinking is followed to the boot here. Participants on the strand in Galveston make their own uniforms. All accessories are authentic replicas as well. The soldiers have to be able to document their outfits and weapons, and according to Kirk, take part in this staged affair for a common reason.
These men here have a sincere appreciation of their heritage, of their ancestry. Most of these men have ancestors that fought in the war, and it means a very great deal to them, and they really, sometimes you can really get the spirit of what it must have been like for your great-grandfather to be wearing a wool uniform that's threadbare in freezing weather with very little to eat, with his shoes almost worn out. And it gives you not so much fun, but satisfaction. Satisfaction of knowing that you were portraying what your ancestor would have wanted you to show, that you were doing something that he would have been proud of, that he would have smiled down on if he was here today.
Ready! Better. Hey! Civilian fires only! Fire! Shoulder! Fire!
Once the assault begins, blanks will be the firepower in these rifles. For now, imagination will do. The battle lines are drawn early in the day. With everyone knowing the outcome, that may be a little like asking if you'd rather play for the Steelers or the Rams in the most recent Super Bowl. So how's it done? Well, those who feel more comfortable as a Confederate don the gray. And for the present-day Yankees, it's behind the barricade in Union blue. The actual battle was a classic confrontation, a bloody fight between two distinct sides.
Your Southerner simply trying to protect what he felt was his home, his farm, and his family. His allegiance was to his state rather than the federal government.
We don't want Boston. We don't want Washington. I mean, we want our own land. So we just want them out of here.
Your Federal, believing very strongly in preservation of the Union and the spirit of American nationalism.
I guess if my hometown was invaded, I'd feel similarly, but then my hometown has not revolted against our government and Constitution.
And so you're here to defend that?
That is correct.
As it happened on that blustery day in 1863, the rebels initiated the fight. They were led by Colonel John Bankhead Magruder, who was trying to redeem himself with General Robert E. Lee in Virginia. Magruder's plan? Tie up the Federal Navy in the harbor and outfight the superior Union troops on the ground.
Back in the ring! Keep marching! Keep firing!
As Kirk said, realism is emphasized during the reenactment, and while it may appear to be all entertainment, there is another reason that's much more important.
The idea of this is not that you see war as a fun thing and that you laugh and have a good time. It's certainly, this is entertaining, but you're also to be educated and try to realize that this was the most hideous war this country ever fought.
As the battle rages, casualties continue to mount. The hospital ward is nonpartisan, though, and while a doctor is on hand, a minister's attention is required for the more seriously wounded.
If you fear, you're listening to the devil himself.
I could feel coming. I was playing cards and I should have been in church.
And back on the battlefront, concern is on the upswing in the Union ranks.
Where's our Navy?
That was a good question. Of course, in the reenactment, a naval force was impossible to gather. But back in 1863, it was the lifeblood of the Federal troops, their ace in the hole, if you will. As long as the Yankee fleet was intact, Galveston would remain in the hands of the Blue. But as history and Captain Lyons tell us, that did not happen.
And also that your flagship, the Westfield, has been blown up by its own crew and 13 of the crew reported dead. Sir, your fleets are flying white flags of truce in the harbor, and we ask that you surrender, as you are now completely cut off and surrounded.
We'll give our reply in 5 minutes. Sir, it's a damn lie. Let's go back and confirm it.
It didn't take the Yankees too long to realize the jam they were in. Surrounded by Confederate soldiers, and in this case about 1,000 Texan civilians, they were helpless. But as the soldiers may have been in the 19th century, their brave present-day counterparts were reluctant to throw in their muskets.
The ships have surrendered. All right, gentlemen, it is confirmed. The ships have surrendered. Unfixed bayonets.
Who's surrendering? We haven't been licked, sir!
We can still try to fight our way out. We're hopelessly cut off, gentlemen. We're all going to surrender.
So as fate had predetermined it, the outcome remains unchanged. The ragtag Confederates had battled against superior Federal troops and overwhelming odds, and won control of the city. It was at the surrendering ceremonies that the rebels could gloat over their accomplishment, a proud moment for them, a temporary flash of glory for the Old South.
With the way, Dixieland, in Dixieland, where I was born.
Gentlemen, the regimental flag of the 42nd Massachusetts Infantry.
Huzzah!